Have you ever lost something so important that you'd do anything to find it? Today we follow Emma, a young woman searching for her best friend, her cat, Max. But Max isn't just any cat. He's disappeared without a trace. Where could he be? As Emma asks her neighbors for help. Every clue leads her closer to solving the mystery. Will she find Max? And where could he be hiding? Stay with us as we follow Emma's exciting journey through her neighborhood to uncover the truth. The Lost Cat. One sunny morning, Emma woke up with a smile. She stretched her arms and looked out the window. The sky was blue and the birds were singing. It was a perfect day. Emma was in her mid-20s with short brown hair and big, curious eyes. She lived alone in a small apartment and had one special friend in her life, her cat, Max. Max was a small, fluffy cat with soft white fur and big green eyes. He was playful and curious, but also very lazy. Max loved to sleep in the sun, play with his toys, and eat treats. Emma and Max were best friends, and they spent most of their time together. But today, something was wrong. Emma looked around her small, cozy apartment. The living room was decorated with warm colors, and there were books and plants everywhere. Max, she called. There was no answer. She looked under the bed, behind the couch, and in Max's favorite spot by the window. But Max was not there. Where is Max? Emma said to herself. She started to feel worried. Max was never far from home. He was usually a quiet cat who didn't wander off. Emma grabbed her blue jacket and keys. I need to find Max, she said. She left her apartment and went into the neighborhood. The neighborhood was peaceful, with small houses and tree-lined streets. She walked down the street, looking for her cat. Max, where are you? As she walked, she met her neighbor, Mr. Jones. Mr. Jones was an old man with a kind smile. He was in his 70s and had gray hair, always wearing a red sweater and reading the newspaper. He had lived in the neighborhood for many years and knew everyone. Good morning, Mr. Jones, Emma said. Good morning, Emma. Mr. Jones replied in his gentle voice. How are you today? I'm worried, Emma said. Have you seen my cat, Max? He is lost, and I can't find him. Mr. Jones put down his newspaper and adjusted his glasses. Isham, he said, thinking for a moment. I saw a white cat walking towards the park this morning. Maybe it was Max. Emma smiled, feeling hopeful. Thank you, Mr. Jones. I will go check the park. Emma walked to the park, which was only a few blocks away. The park was big, with tall trees, green grass, and a small pond in the middle. Children were playing on the swings, and people were walking their dogs. Emma looked around, but she didn't see Max. Near the pond, Emma saw Mrs. Lopez. Mrs. Lopez was in her 60s, with long silver hair tied in a bun. She was wearing a colorful shawl and had a gentle, caring nature. Mrs. Lopez loved to feed the birds, and she always had a bag of bread for the ducks. Every morning, she came to the park to sit quietly by the pond. Emma walked up to her. "Hello, Mrs. Lopez," Emma said. "Have you seen my cat, Max? He is small and white, with green eyes." Mrs. Lopez smiled kindly, her eyes twinkling. "Oh, Emma, I haven't seen Max today, but I did see a white cat near the bakery earlier. Maybe Max went there." "The bakery?" Emma asked, feeling a bit surprised. Max loved food, so it made sense. "Thank you, Mrs. Lopez. I will go look there." Emma left the park and walked to the bakery. The bakery was one of Emma's favorite places. The smell of fresh bread and cakes filled the air, making her stomach rumble. The bakery was small but cozy, with big windows and shelves full of bread, cookies, and pie. Inside, Emma saw Mr. Lee, the baker. Mr. Lee was in his 40s, with short black hair and a warm smile. He was always cheerful, and he made the best cakes in town. Today he was busy putting fresh bread on the shelves. "Hello, Mr. Lee," Emma said, walking up to the counter. "Have you seen my cat, Max? He is lost, and I am trying to find him." Mr. Lee wiped his hands on his apron and thought for a moment. "I haven't seen a cat today, but you should ask at the library. The library is always quiet. Maybe Max went there to rest." Emma nodded, feeling a little more hopeful. "Thank you, Mr. Lee." She left the bakery and headed to the library. The library was a big, old building with tall wooden doors and many books inside. Emma loved to go there to read and relax. The library was always calm and peaceful, a perfect place to think. When she walked in, she saw Miss Green, the librarian. MS Green was in her 30s with long, curly brown hair and glasses. She was tall and slim, with a quiet, thoughtful personality. Miss Green loved books and knew everything about them. "Hello, MS Green," Emma said. "Have you seen my cat, Max? I have been looking for him all morning." MS Green smiled softly. "I haven't seen Max, but you know cats love quiet places. Maybe he's hiding somewhere safe. Did you check at home again?" Emma sighed, feeling tired. She had already looked at home, but maybe she should check one more time. "Thank you, Miss Green. I will check again." Feeling a little discouraged, Emma walked back to her apartment. She opened the door and looked inside. The apartment was still quiet, and Max was not there. Emma sat down on the couch, feeling sad. "Where is Max?" she whispered. She missed her cat so much. Then, suddenly, Emma had an idea. She remembered something. "Max loves food," she said. "Maybe he is at the bakery near all the delicious bread and cakes." Emma quickly stood up and ran out the door. She hurried back to the bakery, her heart full of hope. When she arrived, she walked inside and called out, "Mr. Lee, I think Max might be here." Mr. Lee looked surprised. "Here? I haven't seen him." But just as he said that, they both heard a small noise coming from the back of the bakery. It was a soft meow. Emma's face lit up with joy. "Max," she called. She followed the sound to a cozy corner at the back of the bakery. There, in a soft basket of bread, Max was sleeping. "Max," Emma cried. Feeling so happy, she gently picked him up. "I was so worried." "Thank you, Mr. Lee." Mr. Lee laughed, his eyes twinkling. "It looks like Max loves my bakery as much as you do." Emma hugged her cat and smiled. "Thank you, Mr. Lee." "Thank you, everyone," she said. She was so grateful to all her neighbors for their help. She carried Max back home, feeling happy and relieved. Max purred in her arms, sleepy but safe. When they got home, Max went straight to his favorite spot by the window and curled up in the sun, his green eyes closing slowly. Emma sat down next to him. "I'm so glad you're home, Max," she whispered. She thought about her neighbors, Mr. Jones, Mrs. Lopez, Mr. Lee, and M.S. Green. They had all been so kind and helpful. Emma smiled. She knew she was lucky to live in such a friendly neighborhood. From that day on, Emma always made sure to check the bakery first if Max ever wandered off again. And she always remembered to say, "Thank you for helping," because her neighbors made her feel like she was never alone. Emma found Max. But what if he gets lost again? Would you know where to look if you were in Emma's shoes? Stories like this show us how important friendship and community really are. If you enjoyed this adventure, there are many more stories waiting for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next exciting journey. And remember, every story helps you learn new words and practice English. Keep watching and keep learning with us.